He's a real doctor, and he plays one on TV. Our third story in the countdown, President-elect Obama's apparent choice for Surgeon General, not Dr. Phil, not Doogie Howser, Dr. Sanjay Gupta of CNN. All right, let it out. Your first thought, possibly something like this. Isn't this like making Judge Judy the Attorney General? Gupta served as a White House fellow in 1997, where he advised and crafted policy for then First Lady Hillary Clinton. He is a skilled neurosurgeon who, while reporting for CNN from Iraq, performed 5 different brain surgeries, including one on a 2-year-old child. And he has spent 7 years in the communications business, which is presumably why sources have told the Washington Post's Howard Kurtz that Obama believes Dr. Gupta would be the most high-profile Surgeon General ever, hopefully better known than this guy. Can you name him? That is the current acting Surgeon General, Rear Admiral Stephen K. Galson. Duh. I'm joined now by Ezra Klein, Associate Editor at the American Prospect magazine. Great, thanks for your time tonight, sir.
How you doing?
As TV as he is, and I'm speaking from personal experience, he is transparently TV. Is he among the most qualified candidates for this job?
He is. I mean, if you think about Surgeon General, right, on the one hand, he should be a doctor, and he is. He's a neurosurgeon. And he's still, one thing important about him, he still publishes. He still practices. He's a practicing neurosurgeon, as far as I know. But the other thing is the Surgeon General position is a position of education now. It's a position since really the cigarettes, since you began having the Surgeon General weigh in on every smoking decision anybody makes, it's become a position of national public health. And he is more trained for that than any other physician in the country. I don't think you could find anyone else who has both the degree he has and the amount of media experience he has. But one thing you didn't mention in the intro here is that he has also been given health policy responsibilities. He will be part of the health reform effort. I think that's important, too. Part of what he's going to be doing there is selling the administration's health care plan. And again, on that, he has enormous experience communicating medical and health policy, for that matter, concepts to the public. So for what this position is, which is sort of a medical communications position, he's sort of uniquely qualified. And
you mentioned the smoking and Surgeon General Dr. Terry, I believe it was. But is it instructive that maybe the most visually memorable of the recent attorneys general, the recent Surgeons General, C. Everett Koop from the Reagan administration, he's 92 years old, and he's still on television now selling Life Alert bracelets. I mean, as you suggest, this is a medical, public relations, publicity, promotion job. Gupta in it, is that sort of like the natural evolution of the way this job has been going or should have been going?
Oh, very much. C. Everett Koop, he wears one himself.
Yes.
But with Gupta, right, it's C. Everett Koop sort of accidentally fell into that job. He became known in a way because he was just sort of a recognizable figure. Gupta is a professionalization of that function of the job, right? Unlike Koop, who just happened to be the sort of guy who attained notoriety just by virtue of being a sort of interesting individual, Obama and his people clearly sat down, tried to figure out what the Surgeon General is now, decided it is a position where what we want is a PR guy, the sort of person who could be memorable years down the line for having helped us sell our health care plan or having helped attack the obesity crisis, and pick someone with that skill set. No longer is it just a very well-known and even politically connected doctor, but again, a media professional. And this is the first time, I think, that any president has reimagined the Surgeon General that way, has codified what has been the sort of natural evolution of the position over the past, couple of decades.
You touched on this. Howard Kurtz's sources said that Dr. Gupta would, quote, have an expanded role in providing health policy advice. Any idea at this early stage what that means exactly?
It's hard to say, but if he's providing advice, he's almost certainly going to be providing advocacy. And so what you're going to have in Gupta is a guy who was the most credible in the mind of the viewer, media doctor around in quite some time, who has enormous public recognition and who will be out there as a medical professional arguing for Obama's health care plan. And I want to note that it's not the only time Obama did this, right? When he picked Tom Daschle for Health Czar, or for HHS, he also made him colloquially Health Czar. He made him head of the White House Office of Health Policy Reform. And what you're seeing is a very concerted effort to not remake the mistakes of Clinton. In 1994, people feel that they did a very bad job selling to Congress. So who do they get to sell to Congress? A former majority leader this time. And they felt that they had a very bad media strategy. People thought it was going to take away their doctor. They weren't able to explain it clearly. So who do they get to explain it clearly to the public? The best known, essentially, TV-oriented doctor in the country. So this is a very thought-through pick, and I think it really has to be viewed with the lens of healthcare reform on it. And they're really making an effort step by step to make sure they do not repeat any of those mistakes. They may make their own, but they're not going to make Bill Clinton's.
Just as long as they don't set some sort of precedent and take an entire cabinet full of television people, that might be it would be a disaster, not might. Ezra Klein of the American Prospect. Great thanks, sir.
Thank you.